Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jerry and Bulldog Nation, I'm wearing my Bulldog Media shirt today. Today's show is sponsored by Crimson Ground Services. Thank you, Crimson Ground Services. Well, Trump's coming to Ohio. I believe he's coming to Ohio April 23rd. I think that's the date. Delaware County, north of Columbus. Trump also said that when he runs again in 2024, he will ignore the media even more. Good. And not only that, he also pointed out how it's tragic that Biden has pushed Putin and Xi together. Not good. Musk announces that he is offering $54.20 or $41 billion to buy Twitter and take it private. Wow. See? Musk hasn't given up on saving us from censorship. It'll be extraordinary to see how this plays out. Joe Biden's poll numbers under the Quinnipiac poll is down to 33%. Another poll keeps him at 41%, which I keep thinking to myself. So you're telling me that 41% of the Americans are going to be for Joe Biden no matter what. Well, the Quinnipiac poll has him down to 33%. Still blows me away that 33% of Americans can like what this guy's doing. For example, I wonder what the far left, former hippie, free speech crowd thinks about the censorship that's going on in this country. I wonder about that. All right, they arrested Frank James in the subway shooting. You can't make this up. This guy was walking around in the open and called law enforcement to have him come arrest him. And Eric Adams tried to spin that by saying, we got him. It's unbelievable. Eric Adams is such a disappointment. Such a disappointment. And it's just going to be more of the same for New York City. And then this guy, Frank James, has said the most vile, racist thing. He is a black supremacist. You see what he said about white folks, white people? It's unbelievable. He hates white people with a passion. Do we see any condemnation of Frank James? No. None at all. Meanwhile, and I'm moving the location of this one, Sabrina, Patrick LYOYA, L-Y-O-Y-A, shot and killed by a Grand Rapids law enforcement. This black man, 26 years old, grabbed the taser of a police officer, refused to give the taser back, struggle ensues, all that good stuff, and he is shot and killed. Black protesters go hire Ben Crump. I mean, it's truly remarkable. White cop shoots a black guy who's resisting arrest. This goes on over and over and over again. They're resisting arrest, they get shot, then they want to sue. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. 10,000 viewers is all that CNN live streaming. They've spent $300 million on this. I have more viewers of my show than CNN does, spending $300 million. You know, I've said this before. It's been a while since I've said it, and it just tells you how sick in the brains these folks are. Why wouldn't CNN say it's time to go in a different direction and hire some conservative people like me? Fresh blood. Bring in like completely fresh conservative blood and see what happens. No, they're not going to go down with the woke ship. By the way, today is the anniversary of the Titanic hitting the iceberg. CNN just wants to go down with it. Federal transportation mask mandate continued through May. Why? Project Veritas busts some Justice Department personnel talking about how they subpoenaed Apple and Google's information trying to get some conservative information. Then they dropped it and told them not to talk. I love Project Veritas. Keep doing good work. Joe Biden's rating with Jewish voters has gone down from 80% to 63%. I'm going to put that in perspective. 63% of the Jewish voters still like Joe Biden. What the F is that all about? 85 pounds of fentanyl was seized at our border. It cracks me up that we are seizing, think about this, federal agents are seizing fentanyl and drugs at the border that our president and his administration doesn't give a damn about. Wow. Let that sink in for a minute. Because Joe Biden is the head of the largest drug cartel in the world. He is. Wholesale inflation went up 11.2%. 11.2%. Wow. I saw something yesterday where they said fruits and vegetables are about 88%. Bread products up like 50%. I mean, it's insane what's going on out there. The Games of Thrones actor Joseph Gatt, G-A-T-T, we have to shame him, busted for improper communications with a minor with the intent to have some sex. Sicko. Michael Sussman, good old Hillary's lawyer, judge, refused to dismiss the charges. He's headed to trial in May. Can't wait for that one. Get the popcorn, as we like to say. How can a federal judge release fake DHS agents who infiltrated Jill Biden, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden's details? You don't think they might be a national security risk walking around out there? Putin threatens a nuclear war if Sweden and Finland join NATO. You know what I would do? I would just join NATO. By the way, I want to make a little commentary here about Ukraine and Russia and Biden and everything else. You know that I am somebody who spoke very forcefully that we should have done everything we could have done, tanks on the borders with NATO or no-fly zone, before this war happened, to avoid the war from happening. If we knew, and we should have, that the invasion of Ukraine was going to cost us a lot of money and it was going to affect world oil prices, world food prices, and everything else, why shouldn't we have literally done everything that we could have done to stop it? See, I'm not a globalist. I'm not a globalist. But you know what I am? Unlike many of even you, I see the big picture. No, we don't have to be the world's policeman like Saddam Hussein. Should have left that thing alone. But through great show of strength and support, we could have avoided the Ukrainian war. Not fought it, not lost men, not fought the war. We could have avoided it. It's tragedy. Tragedy. Kamala Harris is now down to 35% approval rating in California. San Franciscans, apparently, are they or are they not ready to throw out Nancy Pelosi? I predict not. There's some rumblings that maybe they are. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. These people keep electing these bozos. The first Texas drop-off happened yesterday, and I think later the second Texas drop-off happened in Washington, D.C. of illegal immigrants. Let's see what happens. By the way, DeSantis has already said, don't come here. Don't come here. Speaking of bad ratings, Maddow and company, MSNBC, NBC, just like CNN, just crashing. Senator Johnson called Hunter Biden yesterday a grifter. He sure is a grifter. And then last but not least, in Today in History, Abraham Lincoln was shot and assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. It is, without a doubt, maybe the greatest tragedy, one of the greatest tragedies in American history. And the reason why is because had Lincoln not been assassinated, everything that went on with Reconstruction and the South would have been totally different than the way it played out. With Lincoln being shot, it probably led to a long, long, long time requiring the civil rights movement. Maybe we wouldn't have needed to have the civil rights movement in the 1960s had Lincoln not been shot this day in history. It's so sad. I'll never forget going to the Lincoln burial place in Springfield and seeing the tomb of Lincoln inside the memorial. And that quote says, now he belongs to the ages, that Stanton said upon his death. And I walked out of that place, tears running down my eyes. And the state Parks and Recreation personnel that was there said, that happens a lot. He says, we see it all the time. I mean, it was just unbelievable. This great man, our secular saint, shot and killed this day in history. It's worth pausing and thinking about. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.